What's up, everybody? This is Danny Mathematics here with another example to explore. And today, guys, I want to go over example 4 of how to solve equations by utilizing the quadratic function. Once again, guys, this right here is the quadratic function where x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b to the second power minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Okay? That is the formula that we use, guys, to find out the two potential values, either one value or two values that x could be in order to make this whole equation true. So there's either one or two values that x could potentially be or possibly be in order to make this equation true, this whole equation true, okay? So the first thing that, guys, that we need to do is we need to figure out what are the values of the coefficients. The coefficients is A. A is a coefficient that is always attached to x to the second power. B is the coefficient of x to the first power, and C is just the constant or the number that's not attached to an x, okay, or a variable, okay? So in order for us to do that, guys, we have to move all of our values to one side and set them to equal 0. Over here, guys, not all of our values is operating on one side, so I have to move these particular values to this side and combine like terms. So let's go ahead and do that, guys. So once again, I want to set the whole equation to 0, to where it equals 0. All right? So the opposite of 2x is a negative 2x. So I need to subtract 2x on both sides. It will cancel out here. And then I have to subtract it from a like term, which is 19x, right? Or 19x to the first power. I can subtract 2x from the first power from that, okay? And then over here, guys, I have a minus 1 or a negative 1, right? The opposite of minus 1 is plus 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 on both sides. It's going to cancel out over here. And then I need to find a like term, which is 4. So I'm going to add 1 to 4. Okay? So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and rewrite everything. Okay? 6x to the second power is still going to stay the same. Okay, 19x minus 2x is 17x. Okay, and then 4 plus 1 is 5. Simple. 4 plus 1 is 5. And once again, this is all equal 0 because we move everything to one side. So everything, that whole equation is set to equal 0. Okay? All right, now what we're going to do is, guys, we're going to make a little value key, and we're going to find out the values of the coefficient A, coefficient B, and the constant C, okay? Once again, A is the coefficient that's attached to x to the second power, and in this case, that is 6, so I'm going to write A equals 6. Once again, it's always good to do a little key, guys, so we can understand what values we have and where they go, okay? B will be 17. B is the coefficient of x to the first power. In this particular case, is 17, right? But I always note, guys, that in the quadratic formula, we have a positive b, but we also have a negative b. If positive b equals positive 17, then negative b equals negative 17. Okay? And then last but not least, guys, we do have a constant of c. We have a constant of c, which is 5. Okay, we have a constant of 5, which is c. All right, so once again, guys, that is the little key that I need in order for me to plug in the correct values within the quadratic formula. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and plug these particular values into the quadratic formula. Let's go ahead and do that, guys. I'm going to write it out. I have x equals negative b. Negative b in this case is negative 17. Okay, so I'm going to put negative 17 plus or minus the square root of, now I have a positive b to the second power. So that's going to be a positive 17 to the second power minus 4 times A. A is 6, so it's going to be 4 times 6. So I'm going to put a positive 6 in the parentheses, meaning that we're multiplying, times c, which is 5, times a positive 5. Just like that. And then we're going to divide everything by 2 times 8, which is 2 times 6. So once again, guys, we have successfully plugged in the values in their correct positions, okay? Now, the next steps, or the next couple of steps that we need to do, guys, is simplify so we can find out the 2 values that x could potentially be or possibly be in order to make this whole thing true, okay? So let's start simplifying, guys. I can simplify the bottom. I know that 2 times 6 is 12, okay? Now I want to also simplify within the square root sign, okay? I know that 17 squared is just like saying 17 times 17, and 17 times 17 is 289. Okay, all right. I know that 6 times 5 is 30, so I'm gonna do 30 times a negative 4. 30 times a negative 4, that should be a negative 120, which it is. So that's a negative 120, so I'm gonna subtract 120. I'm gonna subtract 120. Once again, 6 times 5 is 30. 30 times negative 4 is a negative 120. Yes. All right, so I have successfully done that correctly. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to continue to simplify. Okay, so I still got negative 17 plus or minus the square root of. Now, instead of me having 17 squared, now I'm going to put 289. So I have 289, right, minus all of this over here equals a negative 120 or minus 120, right? All divided by 12, because 2 times 6 at the bottom is 12. Okay, so we're good. Now, what we need to do now, guys, we need to simplify everything within the square root sign, okay? So let's go ahead and do that, guys. 289 minus 120 is 169. 169, okay? 169. Okay, so I can cross that out, guys, and I can just leave it as 169. So now I'm going to have a negative 17 plus or minus the square root of 169, right? All divided by 12. Okay? Okay, all divided by 12. I believe, guys, that the square root of 169 is 13. Yep, it is. So the square root of 169 is 13. So I can cross this out, guys, and I can put 13. Because 13 times 13 is 169. So now, guys, lastly, I have x equals negative 17 plus or minus 13, all divided by 12. Okay? Now, we're down to the last and final step, guys. Remember, the reason why I have a plus and a minus stacked on top of each other is telling me that it's going to be 2 different values that x can be. So in order to find those 2 different values, we're going to do 2 different operations in the numerator, which is adding 13 and subtracting 13 from negative 17, okay? So let's go ahead and do that, guys. So the first value of x, we're going to add 13 to negative 17. Plus 13 all over 12. Okay? So negative 17 plus 13 is a negative 4, okay? So all of this at the top will be a negative 4, right? And a negative 4 over 12, if we simplify that and we divide by 4, that will be negative 1 over 3, okay? So the value of this particular x is negative 1 over 3. Let me put the negative sign as red so you know it's negative. So negative 1/3. Negative 1/3 would be the value of the first x, okay? All right, negative 1/3. Just want to check one more time, make sure, yes. All right, now let's do the second one. And instead of me adding 13 to, instead of me adding 13 to negative 17, I'm just going to subtract 13 from negative 17, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I got negative 17, and I'm going to subtract 13, which is just like adding two negatives, right? All right, negative 17 minus 13 is just like saying negative 17 plus a negative 13, which is a negative 30, which is a negative 30. So I have negative 30 over 12. I can simplify that, guys. If I simplify it by 6, right? If I divide it top and bottom by 6, it will equal a negative 5 over 2. It will equal a negative 5 over 2. All right, because negative 30 divided by 6 is negative 5, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So it will be a negative 5 over 2. Okay? So once again, guys, those are the two values x could be in order to make this whole equation true. Okay? Negative 1/3 and negative 5 over 2. Yes, sir. So thank y'all so much, guys, for tuning in. I will talk to you next time.